Good morning. Thank you, Federico, and the Central Bank of Argentina for this invitation to be here with you today. I'm going to run a risk. I'm going to speak Portuguese-Spanish mixture of a language, a real challenge. We mentioned technology, and I'd like to share with you a video I have concerning what MasterCard is. Thank you. Please, the video.
You should also know we're the technology behind today's advanced payment solutions and the powerhouse processing gazillions of transactions for more than 2 billion MasterCard credit, debit, and prepaid accounts.
No traducimos el video puesto que está subtitulado.
In territories. No other payment brand is more widely accepted. Last year alone, more than $4.1 trillion was spent on our payment products, enough to fly to outer space a few thousand times. Our network can handle 43 billion instructions per second. Average time to process a transaction, 130 milliseconds. 2 times faster than the blink of an eye. Twice as fast as our largest competitor. A whole lot faster and safer than old-fashioned cash and checks. Our network is built to withstand whatever the world might throw at it. Since even our backup has a backup, you can count on us to keep global commerce moving and get every piece of data delivered safely to one of the biggest data warehouses in the universe. Our lawyer said it's safe to say there's no data storage on Jupiter. With petabytes of information, we're providing unique insights to customers and better value for consumers, like more relevant offers and products via ever-evolving technologies. It's a whole new world of payments, and we're at the center, driving innovation. From new products that help businesses operate more efficiently, to chip-based technology that protects cardholders and retailers from fraud. From solutions that help governments save lots and lots of money, to enabling entire countries to bring hundreds of millions into the financial mainstream. All of it while protecting everyone's privacy. And with programs that enable external developers and innovators to build on our technology, we're reinventing payments technology even faster, delivering more meaningful solutions every day for every person in every corner of the world. A people-centric payments technology company. That's us. That's MasterCard.
As you can see, our business is much better than the card business, so to speak, because we are a technology company all over the world, enhancing payment systems. We do not issue credit cards, which is a misconception. We are much more than that. We connect clients, customers, institutions, financials, non-financial institutions, businesses, governments, and corporations at world level, allowing them to make use of electronic payment systems in lieu of and replacing cash and checks. And we use technology in different insights so that e-payments will be much more practical, safe, efficient for everyone all over the world. Therefore, we do not issue credit and or debit cards, but we develop advanced payment solutions, and we perfectly process millions and millions of transactions every year. Thousands. The world is changing right now, and we have to speak about the digital revolution first. Of course, the present-day economy is undergoing these changes. This day we are living in extremely interesting times where the world is becoming much more connected on an increasingly basis. Millennials have 4 or 5 devices connected at the same time, and technology is advancing at incredible pace, and industries are reinventing themselves. The payment industry is no exception to all these changes. And consumers are, of course, having tremendous expectations about technology and what technology can do for them by eliminating friction in their daily life and making their life much much easier from every point of view, especially the payment viewpoint. The digital world is transforming the way in which we interact and make transactions. Therefore, I do believe that in the next 5 years, we're going to see many more changes in the payment industry, much more changes that we have seen all over the last 50 years, 5 last decades, and all this process is accelerating at a higher pace. Here you can see all this information in the transparency. Latin America is no exception to this rule. It is moving forward towards the digital world. Our vision at MasterCard is the following. All devices and equipment will be becoming business devices and equipment. People make use of their mobile cell phones to make transactions. They are using their cars, which are fully connected, their fridges. Every home appliance will be used according to these new technologies which are available to them. We clearly see the new POS with M-Pass, and of course some of my colleagues have mentioned this before. Clearly enough, we can make transactions here, there, and everywhere at all times. And of course, Latin America is much more connected than before. Latino people are connected, and Latin America is a fertile land for this development. In the field of mobile phones, we have more than 3 devices connected per household, and this has to do with penetration, smartphone penetration, growing and increasing. Sales are, of course, increasing. 50% of those sales account for mobile phones all over the world, and people are making use of this equipment for making transactions online. Mercado, Pago, another colleague of mine, will deal with these topics later on, but we are no exception to this rule. In Latin America, we do have more than 15 million people already connected with mobile payment, with e-wallets, and of course all this is gaining ground and speed. More than 50% of mobile bank penetration, and of course it's not surprising that we are like Uber, Amazon, and Apple. As a retailer, we, MasterCard, are ranking among the first providers in Latin America. This shows you that people are opening 1, 2, and more accounts every day to make transactions on an electronic or digital basis. This is a very strong trend. As Stefan mentioned, and Fernando also mentioned, the issue of cashless economy and the use of cash. In Latin America, we're going to more the fact that within this new context, e-payments are under 20% in this region. So we have 4 times more cash-based payment than e-payment. So we have to, of course, promote penetrations in markets in Latin America, where Chile and Brazil are running first and second. Argentina is placed on an average ranking. We have more than $3 billion in transactions, household consumption, 54 billion transactions being made every year, more than 1 billion cards every year. So we have a wonderful window of opportunity there to grow and develop our e-payment industry. As Lorenza mentioned, Bitcoin issues. I have to tell you that much has to be done in the future in order to be able to reach the Bitcoin scenario, so that the industry will be interoperable and have the necessary interoperability in this regard. I do believe that my colleagues have mentioned the cost of cash-based transactions. I'm not going to delve into this issue, but we share the following vision. The more cash you use, use means that, of course, you are, of course, not in the way of a cashless economy, because cash is our greatest competitor. We want to reduce the use of cash. This means less transparency, less tax revenue, less per capita income, less financial inclusion or inclusiveness, and therefore, clearly enough, a higher level of corruption. Therefore, our colleagues also mentioned that cash has a cost in itself. If you really look at the concept of printing and distributing cash money, maintaining ATMs, the cost of bank accounts, briefly the cost of holding cash goes from 0.1% basis point in all economics, because this is money that you can use, cash that you can use for other things, for other needs, etc., that we do have in this Latin American region. And what about cash and what about financial inclusiveness? Because there's a strict correlation between digital inclusion and digital finances. Here we are walking along the lines of internet, here, there, and everywhere. Everyone connected to it and with internet, being linked there. But what happens about those who have come excluded from these financial developments? There's a gap here, and we have to overcome this gap, because otherwise the gap is becoming much wider every day if we do not work together. The lack of resolving this issue, replacing cash with digital inclusion. The example of Sweden is a wonderful epitome, where we can see that the more developed economies where cash is not used widely or is not used at all, there's much more financial inclusion. But in Latin America, where we have more than 250 million people that are excluded from the financial system, they cannot show who they are, their identities, they are absolutely excluded from the system, they cannot have a loan. So I think that this is the trend for digital inclusion, which is growing steadily, and you cannot have a bank bill in a computer, or a coin in a computer, or ATM, or whatever you want to use. We want to have a cashless economy where we're not going to use ATMs, we're going to use the digital economy. This is very important indeed, but we have to take the necessary steps to attain this goal. And let me share with you something connected with digital solutions and services. I'd like to share some examples of what we are doing every day so as to have interoperable systems, so that people make use of their accounts, whether card-based or not, in a much wider fashion. Here you can see what we call transport solutions. In Colombia, we are making 1 million transactions concerning debit cards, e-payments. In other Latin American countries, we're also working along these lines together with Brazil. And we are also working in other examples. Let me share one of these examples. The London subways, more than 30 million transactions approximately on a monthly basis. People from more than 35 countries. People are getting used to use all these e-payment methods and tools. So we have to make the life of every citizen easier, much more transparent and safer. The digital world is the most relevant issue that we have to tackle. Yesterday we mentioned cyber security, which is one of the most important issues in the field of e-payments. We have mobile solutions that have already been put in place in many Latin American countries. Some colleagues of mine are going to deal with this payment of government subsidies, transfers, person-to-person transfer. This is what you can see on the screen. You see Zoom, Caixa, and different online digital payment services in app stores and the like, so that people make use of multi-channels and make transactions on a digital store, through the internet, one-stop point of entry. People don't want to have different systems for different transactions. They love having this one-stop solution, and mobile wallet, an e-wallet, any other device or tool. In the screen you can see many solutions. In Argentina we started new mobile payment systems without any kind of transport, cash transport of course, and we call Pago sin contacto, payments without any contact, as we call them in Argentina. On the other hand, we have an ACH company in the UK. We bought a company, Coilin, where they are engaged in fast payment systems. I cannot talk a little bit about this project because it's in the pipeline. It has not been approved yet, but we are working with an English ACH company, so we can transfer any kind of money from any account to another, being absolutely interoperable, and payments are absolutely safe and made efficiently and effectively according to consumers' needs and wants. In concluding, I think that the wonderful opportunity to continue to working in Argentina and in Latin America along the lines of reducing the structure for payment system, favoring digital world, leading more competitiveness, being much more effective, transparent and safe. We are going to favor the inclusion of many more consumers that are now excluded from the system, and they will become much more effective financially speaking, because they will be included in this system in an integral fashion. This cannot be performed by one company, one bank. It means public-private partnerships, and of course this implies of working together along the lines of Stefan's vision, a cashless economy. So we are working along these lines. This is the overall trend. And once again, thank you very much for the opportunity to share all these views with you.